Tour.
You're one step away from surrender, one step away from coming home.
With special guest Danny Gokey.
There's a road in front of me. Tell your heart to beat again.
And Unspoken.
Start a fire in my soul.
Join Casting Crowns for the Very Next Thing Tour, performing songs from their latest album, The Very Next Thing, as well as all your favorite Casting Crowns hits.
Living in love, dying we say.
Casting Crowns, The Very Next Thing Tour with Danny Gokey and Unspoken. It's an evening you won't want to miss.
Get your tickets now to see Casting Crowns, Danny Gokey, and Unspoken at the SIU Arena on Good Friday, April 14th. Tickets are on sale now and would make a great Christmas gift. Buy them on our website at wvyn.org.
More music and ministry for Flora, McLeansboro, and Benton.
90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And hello again, sports fans. It's 8:30 on a Saturday morning. It is time once again for the Sports Couch. 90 minutes of great local sports talk. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. And hello to our viewers out there on cable television as well as on our YouTube channel and live video stream here on AreaSports.net. Boy, the weather played havoc last night, didn't it, Danny? A lot of games canceled last night over in especially Metro East area.
Yeah, over to the west, things were pretty hectic last night. I think there was a lot of major traffic accidents, and maybe that's what we have to look forward to tonight.
Well, it is probably going to play havoc on the schedule today for a lot of games. Some games may get in, some may not. One thing we know for sure is the schedule has been moved up at the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament. The trophy round game's scheduled to be played today, and they're actually going to start those at 10 o'clock this morning, Danny.
Yeah, first game's going to kick off at 10 o'clock. The championship game's going to tip around 2:30 if they don't get to running behind. So.
And that championship ought to be a dandy between an undefeated 9-0 Wayne City and a very good Patoka team.
Yeah, Wayne City I don't think played very well last night. I don't think they shot the basketball real well, but they were able to get a 5-point victory there to advance that championship game. Yeah,
we will talk to head coach Don Kueper of the Wayne City Indians a little bit later on the show this morning. We're also going to have Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules on with us. They've won 7 games in a row now, and they beat previously undefeated Edwards County last night.
His Mules team's playing very well. They escaped out of Hamilton County on Tuesday night with a victory, and I'm sure that's what he'll tell you. They escaped.
Okay.
Shot 17 out of 19 from the free throw line, and the Foxes had a chance with a 1-and-1 with 4.6 and come up empty, got the rebound, and Jaden Lewis made a tremendous block shot to end the game.
He sure did. So we'll talk to Coach McElravy about both of those games. Doug Creel will join us from the Mount Vernon Rams. They ran up against a buzzsaw last night with the Carbondale Terriers. Carbondale and Coach Jim Miller playing real well. They got a win last week against Centralia. They beat the Rams last night at home in Mount Vernon. We'll talk to Coach Creel about that. They've got a game on the schedule tonight against Waterloo. But, again, the schedule or this question is, can Waterloo make it over today, or will they want to with the weather,
this weather today is going to play a major impact, I think.
Another team that's off to a great start, those Benton Rangers. Coach Ron Winemiller is going to join us this morning.
Yeah, his team's off to an 8-0 start. They defeated conference rival last night, West Frankfort 75-32 there at the redesigned Rich Herron Gym. They've done a lot of work to that gym. I'm excited to get over there and see it.
That will be neat to see. Another team that's off to a great start that we're going to visit with this morning, another 2A powerhouse. That's the Mount Carmel Aces. Coach Tyler Buss going to join us as well.
They're probably one of the favorites right now.
I would think so. They got a lot of size returning from that team. Last year they had a lot of success.
Got a good guard play. Be interesting to see his thoughts here this morning.
Yeah. And then if we can squeeze him in, if time will permit and if his schedule will permit, we're hoping to visit with Coach Lee Bennett of the Centralia Orphans this morning as well, not only to talk about his Orphans team, but to preview the upcoming Centralia Holiday Tournament, as the pairings were released for many of the tournaments this week, including El Dorado and Cesar and Mater Dei and Centralia, among others. And we'll talk about that field at the Centralia Holiday Tournament with Coach Bennett this morning. I know he's got a freshman game this morning. They got practice. They're also scheduled to play a game tonight against Highland, and they've got to make a decision whether they're going to go to Highland.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get him on, though. We're going to try to.
Busy day.
Yeah, he said give him a shot, so we'll give him a shot. Anyway, that's what we got going on. We'll have Coach Creel on with us to start the show here in a moment. But, Danny, you want to run through the scores from last night?
Yeah, from the Conrad Allen tourney last night, Patoka advances to the championship game with a 67-55 victory over Red Hill. Wayne City held off Crab Orchard 57-53. That sets up the seventh-place game today at 10 a.m. between Sisney and Grayville. The fifth place will be between Weber and Crab Orchard. Third-place game, Red Hill is going to take on the Fairfield JV team, and what a nice deal for those young men, a JV team coming over playing for a chance for third place. And in the championship game at 2:30, it'll be the undefeated Wayne City Indians versus Patoka. From the Black Diamond last night, Chester defeated Tricos 78-37. Christopher 59, Cesar 56. Carmel with one loss on the season. They moved to 6-1, 55-37 over Hamilton County. Fairfield Mules put the first loss on Edwards County of the season, 56-50. And El Dorado manhandles Johnson City last night, 80-45. From the Midland Trail, Waltonville, the Battle of Jefferson County, Waltonville defeats Woodlawn 55-47 in overtime.
You think there was anybody at that game?
I doubt there was anybody there. Oden 81, Sandoval 33.
Okay, and last night in the South 7 Conference, only one game got in last night. Due to the weather, Belleville-Altough could not play at Centralia. That was postponed. And Marion got to Cahokia and then turned around and went home. They decided not to play either. So, and the cheerleaders never did get there. They turned around halfway there and went home. So both those games were postponed. But they did play the game last night between Carbondale and Mount Vernon. The Terriers won it last night over the Rams 49-27. Let's talk about that game right now with the head coach of the Rams. That's Doug Creel. Good morning, Doug. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, you were the only game that got in last night in the conference. That was kind of a weird night last night, wasn't it?
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, I tell you what, the Terrier bunch comes in with a lot of size and athleticism. They're young. They're young just like your team is, but they've got quite a bit more size, and that's one thing that's hard to coach is size, isn't it?
Well, they're very those guys were starters last year and young kids, and they kind of took their licks a little bit. But I thought all three of their main guys, Bean and Acree and Martin, had all gotten better and bigger and longer, and I knew they were going to be a tough matchup because basically it's Carbondale's team from last year, that we beat twice, and they're very one thing that Coach Miller's teams always do, they guard you, and they made it hard for us because we don't. When I get on our guys and practice a little bit about, hey, you're not going hard enough, that's not going to work. Well, it works against our JV team, but unfortunately, you gotta play the Carbondales for our guys to realize, hey, maybe I do have to go harder. I just can't throw it there because he's not going to be open. And it's hard to simulate their size and quickness and athleticism.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so hard to simulate that in practice against a JV team, and they really don't know it until they get out there and they play the Winslow Martins of the world. And I'll tell you what, Martin's really elevated his game this year. I thought he was a high flyer last night, playing above the rim most of the night, and I think he's vastly improved over last year. At least he looked like it last night.
Oh, I think so. I think they all three of their guys improved. And the other thing that's pretty good is the two other guys that they had in who are, they used different guys, but they didn't shoot the ball. They didn't force shots. They made sure that Bean and Acree and Martin all got touches. And the other thing that hurt us was the fact that, they got a lot of rebounds. You know, it's hard for us to offensive rebound. We might be positioned. They just go over us and get it. And then defensively, you know, they're hard to get off the glass. They're long and lanky and athletic. But you got to give Carbondale some credit too, because they came in. Their kids played hard. They didn't overlook us because, hey, you know, we have a losing record, and they came in and meant business. I thought our kids played hard. I thought they were very coachable. I thought they were good teammates. We just got beat by a better team, and we got to continue to try to close the gap on those guys a little bit.
I thought it was a great effort from your JV team last night. The Rams JV team did get the win last night over Carbondale, and I thought they played very hard. And I wanted to give you kudos on something last night on that. I thought it was great that you brought Jake Martin in and allowed him to start and play in JV last night. I thought that was a huge confidence booster for him last night. And so then when he came into the varsity game last night, he had a whole nother perspective on things, and I thought that he played with a lot more confidence in the varsity game because of what happened in the JV game. Would you agree?
Well, let me tell you this. In the world we live in now, because it's a me world, you know, Jake has been starting, and most kids would look at that, hey, now he's playing JV. They would have fallen apart, quit, complained, blamed me, blamed their teammates. Jake was just fine with it, and used it, just like you said, used it to his advantage. I thought he played very, very well. I thought he had developed some confidence. I thought he played a little better in the varsity game. You got to keep in mind that Jake's just a young pup sophomore, and as many of our guys are, and playing a mere span of freshman. So I'm trying to handle them a little bit with kid gloves. This is a learning process. But a lot of kids would have fallen apart in Jake's circumstance, and Jake takes it in stride, and that says a lot about him as a young man, says a lot about his parents. The fact that, most people would have fallen apart in that situation, but he took advantage of it and used it as an example, and thank you for bringing that out.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very true. It played out very, very well like you hoped it would, and Danny, you've seen that before too, where kids just sometimes get overmatched if they're thrown in the fire at varsity, and taking a step back was something very positive for him last night.
Yeah, one thing coaches have to watch, and I have seen this occur a little bit over time. They get in a situation where they have to move kids up, Randy, and then they're maybe only getting in for short spurts in a contest, and they're not getting very many minutes, and then they realize what's happening, and they let those kids go back and play at least a half of JV to keep their confidence build up, let them compete against. There's a big difference. Sophomore kids playing senior kids, I've said this numerous times. If I'm a senior and I cannot school a sophomore, I probably ought to do like official told me one time. We was playing a grade school game, and they had a girl playing, and she was pinching me. And this official lives here in Wayne City, and I said to him, "Sir, watch her. She's pinching me down here under the basket." He patted me on the back and said, "Son, if she's too rough for you, go ask your coach to take you out." And that's kind of the deal there, Sometimes you got to give those kids, you got to make sure they can compete at the level they're supposed to be competing at. And sometimes they get their feet held to the fire, like Doug's experience right now. He's just got a bunch of young kids playing a bunch of seniors, and sometimes that's pretty tough to compete in that world.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is, what we're trying to do is if they're not getting it on the varsity, then they got to get it on the JV. And if they're not getting enough playing time on JV, they got to get some sophomore time. And if they're not getting it there, then they got to go down to freshman. So we're trying to space that out so that everybody's getting time. And sometimes you have to move kids down. And for the most part, our guys are very comfortable with that. I have some great kids. And I just told them last night the big thing was I wanted to stay with it, let me coach them, and every day that we get together, we're going to try to get a little better.
I thought Amir Spann made some real strides last night, too. I saw some real improvement and some bright spots from him last night. I thought he was much more aggressive, thought he hustled more, and just really starting to come into himself a little bit more.
Amir's doing a great job. I talked to Amir a little bit after the JV game. I talked to him about just, hey, let me coach you. Just let me make you better. And he can improve in a lot of areas. Fundamentally, he can get a lot better. He is very athletic. He has to learn some things like a lot of young men do, but to practice a little harder. We've kind of moved him. We were playing him at the 5, which is kind of the post spot, and now he's getting time in JV and varsity on the perimeter spot. So he's done a pretty good job of learning both. He's still a little shaky learning the perimeter stuff a little bit, but we're going to continue to work on that. But he is a positive. He's a strong, athletic kid that can score and finish, and we need all that we can get. But at the same time, we got to remember he is a freshman. He is getting bombarded by a lot of things, and hopefully in the long run, all these experiences will pay off.
Let me let you put your athletic director hat on here real fast because weather's going to play a role today. You're scheduled to play Waterloo today. They're coming over to Mount Vernon. Of course, again, a lot of games were postponed last night. We're looking at temperatures really dropping into single digits tonight. Any update or word on the situation with your game tonight with Waterloo?
Well, I've been in texting contact with their AD. I have a feeling, and I haven't officially done it because I'm going to talk to him after your show, but we may be looking at canceling the game tonight. It's not official yet. I don't know where we'll move that game. I heard that Highland and Centralia have already canceled.
Okay.
I think that game was supposed to be over there. We're supposed to maybe get that mix here at 3 or 4. Man, people got in a mess last night, like you guys have already talked about. I didn't even really know there was supposed to be any ice. So
I don't think anybody did.
I think that's what caught everybody off guard.
Yeah.
So, when people start saying we're the only conference game, I'm like, what's going on? I didn't think it was supposed to be tonight. So I don't think a basketball game's worth ice.
No.
The snow is one thing. There was, I guess, some horrific things happened last night. We had a hard time getting our wrestling team back from Mascoutah because 64 was shut down. So I don't know that Waterloo want to take that chance. I don't know that we want to take that chance. So
right.
I will try, Randy. I will get in touch with you when I make something official.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Appreciate your time this morning, Doug. We'd love to talk more, but we got to move on. Okay, so have a good day and stay safe out there.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye. Head coach Doug Creel, the Mount Vernon Rams. I know you were wanting to jump in there with something else, Danny, but we run out of time.
Oh, yeah.
But the young guys that he's bringing along, I think he's doing it the right way. And I want to tell you, if you would have seen the improvement in Jake Martin and Amir Spann last night, boy, I really saw them take strides last night.
These kids are going to be players, Randy. They're going to be players, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I watched it. Well, I watched it with my son. He got moved up at an early age, and there was a lot of frustration sometimes because of the level he was competing against.
Sure.
And he would have loved to went back and just played on that freshman or that JV level just so he could have competed against kids his size. But it all worked out good in the end.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a tough learning experience at times. And one of the things Doug commented on was, just let me coach you. It's not Doug Creel's first rodeo, boys.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, pay attention, and he'll get you to where you need to be.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Amir Spann, again, he's just a freshman.
Yeah.
He's just a freshman, and he made some quality plays last night in that varsity game. He really did. But it was because he got that confidence in the JV game. Same way with Jake Martin. When he came in the varsity game last night, he was so much more confident because of what he did in the JV game.
Got to walk before you can run.
So, I thought that was really good for both of them. You didn't get a chance to get through all the scores. Why don't you run through the River and some of the other ones, and I'll get our next coach on them.
From the River last night, Nashville, they keep rolling. That sets up a big game tonight. Nashville's going to travel to Benton if the weather doesn't play havoc, and that should be a dandy there tonight. Nashville 75, Sparta 38. Pinckneyville rolls along. They beat DuQuoin 59-41. Carterville got Anna Jonesboro 45-40. Benton 75, West Frankfort 32. Kind of probably a surprise game. The Massac County Patriots been struggling a little bit. They got a couple players back last night. They defeat Harrisburg 65-61. Heron at Murfreesboro was postponed. from the Cahokia Conference, Breeze Central beats Carlisle 54-48. Columbia and Freeburg was postponed. Trenton Westland 51, Redbud 32. They tell me, Randy, that's a team right there to watch in this 2A bracket.
Trenton Westland.
They've got a bunch of good young players, and they say they could be very dangerous.
That's what I understand, too. They said keep your eye on them over the next year or so. They're going to be tough. Mm-hmm.
And Valmar, Depot postponed, Lebanon, New Athens postponed.
Yeah. A lot of postponements last night. Again, you can check the full schedule of scores and games and postponements again on our sports website at AreaSports.net. Well, again, last night in the Black Diamond Conference, it was a huge win for the Fairfield Mules. They're 7th in a row as the Mules beat the previously undefeated Edwards County Lions, beating them 56-50. And let's visit on the phone right now with head coach Scott McElravy. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Boy, your Mules are on a roll right now. That's 7 in a row, and you're winning nail biters, and then you're winning some in between, and that was a huge win last night, wasn't it?
I tell you what, they all feel like nail biters here. These last few, it's been tough. Coach Gerlach does a great job. They've got a nice team. They're going to win a lot of games this year.
Well, I think they are too, and he's got kind of a combination of size and outside shooters too. But you were able to get the lead, and it seemed like you maintained the lead pretty much the whole game, even though it was close.
Yeah, we did. We had a couple chances to push it, up over 10, and they were good enough to get right back in it. And fortunately, my 3 seniors made free throws there at the end. Caleb Smothers really got us going with some threes early in the first half. He's been struggling with ankle injury all year, so it was good to see him step up and make some big shots.
You've shot free throws pretty good all week.
We have. We shot super well. I think we only missed 2 down at Hamco the night, 15 for 17. And they're improved, too. I mean, our conference is a lot tougher top to bottom, I think, this year. And, just finding ways to win. I told the kids, I said, you're kind of setting yourself up at El Dorado because we know, as you get through the bracket, you're going to have some tough teams, some close games, and, you can't have that type of practice enough. I mean, it's always good to put yourself in positions at the end where you have to make big plays or free throws.
Yeah, you're the 2 seed down at El Dorado. As the seed meeting was held this week, and bracket came out, and you're the 2 seed. You're going to play somebody you just played here not long ago in a tight one, NCOE. You'll have to turn around and play them again, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of wish in those tournaments you don't play somebody that you just played or that you're getting ready to play. But we have 5 conference teams in it now out of our 6, so I think that's going to get tougher and tougher to do every year. The tournament this year is just it's crazy balanced. I mean, Heron is prohibitive number 1, but we beat Hamilton County by 1, and they're playing the 4 seed. If they're the 12th seed, my goodness, 2 through 12 could beat each other on any night. That makes for a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I was down this week and visited with them. Scott, we're going to have that tournament kind of wire to wire down there, and I was getting prepared for that. And they're really excited. They think this is the most balanced field they've had in quite some time. They really do.
I know it is in my time. I've never, ever remembered it being this balanced. Usually you have 5 or 6 games that are 20-plus in the first round. I mean, most tournaments are that way. Even when you look in the NCAA tournament, you have a lot of, blowout wins with the bigger seeds. But this year, it's just it's so balanced. And, we talk conference with our kids, but we really focus on the El Dorado tournament, too. We just really enjoy going down there, and the atmosphere, you just can't beat it on the last day. It's just a packed house and a lot of fun.
Yeah, you don't get to play in many of those venues, but, looking at this last night, Massac County, the 7th seed, and Harrisburg's the 4th seed. Massac gets Harrisburg last night.
They did, and I don't know if that was at Harrisburg or Massac. I'm not for sure. Massac had the MVP of the tournament not go out this year. I mean, MVP of the tournament from last year, they had 2 kids, 2 of their starters, better players. They both have, I think, full ride baseball scholarships going to SIU Carbondale. So they're a little down, but, I mean, they're still Massac. They'll be athletic. Coach Hossman's been there forever. So, if we can beat North City, we're either going to face them or a good Gallatin team. Coach Miller does a good job, and they have one of the best point guards in the South in Ramsey.
You just look at a lot of games there. It looks like it could be a really fun tournament after Christmas there down at El Dorado. Do you guys have any more games before the Christmas break?
We usually don't, but this year we got out of the Benton shootout. We picked up Lawrenceville as a non-conference, so we're going to go back up there on Tuesday to face Coach Bishop. We beat them by 7 in the 5th place game, so they'll be raring to get back at us. I don't know if that's good or bad playing, on Tuesday, but the way Christmas sets, we'll still have a good 3 or 4 practices before the El Dorado tournament. So our guys are looking for a little bit of a break. Not to forget our fresh soft mules are playing the 3rd place game at Wayne City. So our last 2 weeks have been really busy. Need a little bit of a break, recharge.
Yeah, Coach, talking about that there a little bit, what a great experience it's been for that group. They're going to play for that 3rd place trophy there today at the Conrad Allen tournament, and they got to be really excited.
They are absolutely drained, I think, because this week we had. Let's start back last Saturday. They opened the tournament. They drove back over here and played NCOE that night in freshman, JV, and varsity game. They had a Monday night game. We had a regular Tuesday night game. They had a Wednesday night game. The only night they've had off was Thursday because they were right back at it last night against DC. So we've got some tired boys. It's a good thing that semesters are coming to a close. But I'm super proud of them and the fact, they're playing a solid Red Hill team for 3rd place. Evidently, Mr. Vinsel, who we know really well, had 47 the other night against Sisney. So we're going to have to find a way to shut him down.
Yeah, Scott, I thought the boys looked a little gassed in that junior varsity contest late Tuesday night there. I thought I could see some of the toll from all the games this week on them then already.
Yeah, poor old, we have one of the Estes brothers, Brian, and cut through his tongue. He bit down on his tongue last Saturday and had stitches there. Then he goes down to North City, and I'm escorting him into the locker room. Somebody drilled him in the nose. So we're a little beat up. He took it really well. He's a really good kid.
That's been a tough week.
That's a tough week for a guy, isn't it?
Get punched in the nose and bite your tongue.
Yeah. But him and his brother, we have a lot, and a lot of those other guys there, we have a lot of hope for him coming up. We've got some good classes coming, and it makes it for a lot of fun.
Jaden Lewis looks like he's getting back into basketball form after missing last season. Looks like he's just getting stronger, and basketball's coming back to him every game.
I think so. He's had some good games. He really played well at Hamilton County the other night. Got a big block at the end of the game there.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
Seal the deal.
That was
boy,
huge.
it's big.
Yeah.
And, he's starting to be a little more offensive, which we want him to be. We've got a lot of good kids, and we still feel like we're not topped out. We've still got some growth, I think, left in our game, and that's exciting. But with our schedule, it's just, every night is tough, and we're just luckily we're finding some ways to win, different ways to win each night now.
Well, that makes your Mules team very, very difficult to defend and guard against because you have so many weapons that can elevate their game at any night, and makes you a pretty dangerous team.
I think so. We knew going into last night's game, Coach would probably come out in a 2-3 zone, and we talked before the game, Coach Book and I, that we needed some other kids to make some outside shots. And Caleb was the guy to do that. Earlier in the year, Jamin Vaughn was, up at the Capital Classic, and he's going to bounce back and have some big games too. But we need those extra guys on the side because they're going to, just like we cover or try to cover the other team's best players, they're going to shadow Snyder and McGill around as much as they can. And so we need those other guys to step up. Kobe Daggs really came on this year too. So him and Jaden in the post, that's helped a lot.
All right, so again, today your freshman-sophomore, your JV team will be playing over at Wayne City at Conrad Allen for the 3rd place game against Red Hill. That's today around 1 o'clock, so if fans want to get out and see that, we want to encourage them to do that. And we wish them well. And thanks for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. And again, congratulations on 7 in a row.
Hey, thank you. I'll tell you something funny. It's not funny, I guess. I'm getting older. But the Trenton team,
yeah.
I think Coach Breedy, his son, is on that team. He may be a junior. I think he's a pretty nice player. Coach Breedy's my age.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to coach against kids with dads that are my age.
How about that?
Tell me something, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that ought to tell you you're getting old.
You're right.
That
Dan,
tells you
you're
you've been doing it for a while. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Have
Yeah,
a good
congratulations on your number 2 seed down there.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to seeing you at that 4:45 game down there from the El Dorado, the 52nd annual El Dorado Holiday Tournament.
But
All right, we'll be there.
all right. See you now. Take care. Bye-bye. Head coach Scott McElravy, 7 in a row as they beat Edwards County last night 56-50. And, yeah, they do have some depth, that JV team that's coming on, pushing those guys in practice too. That's all good.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he's got an outstanding freshman group.
Yeah.
And he's got a better 8th grade group.
Yeah.
So things look pretty bright over in Fairfield.
Yeah,
Illinois.
the next 4 years ought to be pretty good in Fairfield Mules basketball, I would say. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, when we come back, we're going to visit with Don Kueper, the head coach of the undefeated Wayne City Indians. They're in the championship game tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, the Conrad Allen tournament, as they'll be taking on Patoka. We'll visit with him. Coming up next, as the Sports Couch continues. Stay with us.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support. Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now on AreaSports.net and live audio streaming on WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. The trophy rounds of the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament are going to take place today. I'm going to do them early. Going to start at 10 o'clock this morning with the threat of some inclement weather taking place later on. We're expecting temperatures to drop down to the single digits later on this afternoon and tonight. So going to try to get all those trophy games in before that bad weather gets here. And eventually the championship game will tip off about 2:30, 2:45, somewhere in there this afternoon. It'll be the undefeated Wayne City Indians against Patoka, and that should be a dandy of a championship game, won't it, Danny?
Yeah, it should be a great game there this afternoon. Wasn't sure how that was going to shake out. Patoka was one of the favorites, and they got beat the first game and kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball, but they've recovered. And Wayne City, I think, found a way to win last night. I don't think they had one of their better shooting performances of the year, but they found a way to remain undefeated.
Let's find out about that. Wayne City beat Crab Orchard last night 57-53. Don Kueper is on the phone with us right now, the head coach of the Indians. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, guys.
Great to have you on the Sports Couch. Tell us about that win last night. It was a nail-biter. I know you had to come from behind, but you get the win, and that puts you in the championship game.
Yeah, we just struggled to make shots near the basket. Their height had something to do with it. It was really the first time that we really missed senior Clayton Tubbs. We could have used his physicality. Crab Orchard trotted out there 6'3", 6'4", 6'4", and we had 6'4", and then 5'10", 6 foot. So we just we got what we wanted. We pretty much got into the lane anytime we wanted, and Chad Dickey struggled from the floor. Eric Green only made one basket all night.
Wow.
Just missed some open looks and some rattle in and out. And they weren't. It wasn't like we were contested because the ball was just it was in the hoop and then popped right out. Those rims are still a little tight in the new school.
Yeah. Sometimes you have nights like that where the ball just won't go through. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good comeback. We were down 25-16 and went on a 16-0 run at the end of the half and the beginning of the half. Matter of fact, Crab Orchard didn't score their first basket in the third quarter until about the 3:10 mark.
Wow.
So our guys really came out and it started on the defensive end with us, and then we were able to get a couple baskets in transition and then run some offense. And it was a good win for the kids. It was nice to face some adversity. We hadn't done it in a while, and we'll have a good game today with Patoka.
Yeah, what is the latest on the injury situation with Tubbs? Where's he stand at now?
I don't think he's going to go. We thought he was going to be able to go last night, and he just wasn't. I thought we could maybe get by without him against Red Hill, but with Patoka, with Kane and Belcher, Tubbs is our best defender. He's our most physical player, and Patoka likes to play physical, so we'll really miss him against Patoka, but hopefully other guys will pick it up. Jackson King has really elevated his play. Remington Henson's done a nice job coming off the bench as well, so we'll kind of lean on those guys. I don't have an honest answer on if Tubbs is going to play tonight or not. I just don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned King and Henson, and you're right. Those guys have elevated their game and have played well in this tournament. And somebody's always got to step up when somebody is out, and it seems like those guys are doing that.
Yeah, that's what that's the proud thing to take away about the week. You got a lot of seniors. They know what the Conrad Allen tournament means to them, and then you have a senior that misses, and it's the underclassmen. I don't want to take away anything else from the other guys, but, you have, junior Jackson King and then sophomore Remington Henson that really fill in some shoes. Landon Willett, a senior, has really done well also. So it's just nice, team wins. Last night was another team win, and it was very good for the guys.
Yeah, and something else that's kind of cool is the fact that with the new facilities that you have here, with the new high school and the new gymnasiums, you're going to have the opportunity to host the Midland Trail Conference Tournament later on in January. That's going to be great, too, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got the Midland Trail. We're going to host that. I think we signed maybe a contract to host it for a couple years, but, again, it's going to be hard to find a facility, better than ours, so I don't know how often they like to share it. But, yeah, that's great there. And then we also have the regionals, so with us hosting a holiday tournament and hosting the conference tournament and the regionals, we're kind of going to fit in there with some of these other schools. Like at Centralia, we might play 19 home games or something this year. So hopefully that works out for us.
Yeah, okay, that's right. No, you're right about that. Centralia does have a lot of home games, that's for sure. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch, and best of luck today in that championship game against Patoka. I know it's going to be a well-attended game despite the threat of weather. I think people will get out and support it. I hope they do. Again, it's going to tip off about 2:30 or 2:45 this afternoon, so we encourage people to get out. All right, Don?
Yep. Hey, thanks, Randy. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don Kueper, head coach of the Wayne City Indians. And, yeah, it was funny what he said there. He's actually absolutely right about having a lot of home games. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you got the facility and you can do that, why not? And
that's my argument all the time. We got a great facility at Hamilton County. We play in 6 home games.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this picture?
Well, Centralia, they figured it out a long time ago when they built the new gymnasium up there, which they now call Trout Arena. I mean, they host their own Thanksgiving tournament. Okay, so they have home games there. They obviously host the Centralia Holiday Tournament for many, many years. They have all the home games there, and then they have their regular home schedule. So, yeah, they do. They play a lot of basketball games in their own facility, and there's nothing wrong with that,
You know, they always say if you build it, they will come.
And Wayne City's going to have start to have that opportunity, too, with what they have, and not only having their own tournament, but their regular season games, now the Midland Trail Conference Tournament, and now the regional.
Oh, yeah,
So,
and what an advantage that is to get to play there and practice there every day.
Yeah, that is right. Okay, hey, you want to kind of go through the scores again, and we'll get our next coach on.
I'll talk a little bit about the girls' subsectional play
Absolutely.
that got released this week.
Absolutely, yeah, do that.
The Newton sectional teams that are going to feed into that from subsectional A is going to be Edwards County, Bridgeport, Carmel, Fairfield, Flora, Lawrenceville, Hamilton County, Mount Carmel, Newton, Teotopolis, and Vandalia. And I know one of those regionals are going to be held at Teotopolis, and I forgot where the other one's going to be held. But when I look at the Hamilton County Lady Foxes, there's a chance they could wind up in that T-Town regional, and what a trip that would be. Looking at the Johnson City sectional, from subsectional A, it's going to be Alton, Marquette, Belleville, Breeze, Carlisle, Dupont, Greenville, Nashville, Pinckneyville, Redbud, Sparta, Trenton, Westland, and Wood River. And subsectional B of that part is going to be Anna, Campbell Hill, Chester, DuQuoin, El Dorado, Harrisburg, Johnson City, Cesar, Vienna, and West Frankfort. So the winners of sectional B and sectional A will feed into that Johnson City sectional. So that's some beginning looks here of where sectionals and stuff are going to be held. Regional assignments will come out later in the season. But we'll turn around about 3 more times, and it'll be postseason.
You know what? That's true. I mean, it does go by really, really fast, and so it's good to keep up with that. And again, we like to give coverage to girls high school basketball as well, and we'll continue to do that. Last night in the Midland Trail Conference, what a battle, a storied rivalry between the Woodlawn Cardinals and the Waltonville Spartans. They've been playing against each other for many, many years, just being 10 miles apart. And a guy who's really kind of been on both sides of that because he's actually coached both teams in that rivalry before. And that's the head coach now of the Woodlawn Cardinals, Brian Gamber, joins us. Waltonville won the game last night, 55-47. Brian, how are you doing this morning?
Good, doing okay.
Great.
Actually, on my way to the gym for practice at around 10 a.m. So obviously it was a tough night last night. It was a long night. Obviously, 2 good teams going at it, and it goes into overtime and a lot of big possessions last night. And it was just it was a fun high school basketball game. It was a great atmosphere, a great crowd, and both teams went after it. And unfortunately for us, we were on the losing side of it. But again, I mean, good competitive game between 2 good teams going at it. And in a game like that, there's so many things that could have swung the other team's direction. Unfortunately for us, we just were on the losing side last night.
I can't tell you how many overtime games there have been through the years between Woodlawn and Waltonville, but I think there's been several, and last night another one.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, it was back and forth pretty much the whole night. We got in a lot of foul trouble throughout the whole game. Even late, I mean, the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the entire overtime, we've got 3 starters who have fouled out, and we're playing a freshman and a sophomore, and they did fine. I mean, they stepped up and they were playing well. I thought we guarded pretty well for the most part. Again, they got to the free throw line a lot. The McPhail kid does a pretty good job of getting in the lane and drawing contact, and he shot a lot of free throws. And watching the film last night and this morning, I mean, especially early on, we got some really, really good looks. Unfortunately, they didn't go in. We had a shot at the end of regulation. Blake Wallerman had a shot from the right wing, and it was in and out. And those things happen, and then we had a chance in overtime. But again, they made some big plays. If you would have told me before the game, we were going to have that much foul trouble, they were going to shoot 40 free throws, and with 20 seconds left in the game, we were going to be up 1, shooting a 1-and-1. I'd take that 100 times out of 100.
Oh, yeah.
I thought our kids battled. I mean, obviously both teams were going at it. We knew that was going to happen. Everybody was going to play hard. And looking back at it after you can kind of take a step away from it, looking at it, I mean, we executed really, really well. Like I said, we got some really good shots, and sometimes they just don't go in. But we guarded, and because of that, we gave ourselves a chance to win. And we just, fell short last night.
Mm-hmm. Well, the pairings came out this week, Brian, for the Cesar-Valier Holiday Tournament, and your Woodlawn Cardinals are the number 1 seed in that tournament, especially since you beat Christopher here recently. And so you'll have the target on your back, but that's pretty normal for Woodlawn to have a target on their back at Cesar. But, again, it's going to be a very competitive tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When that came out, I mean, we told our kids, that number next to you really doesn't mean anything. Going into it, we've had success there the last several years, so regardless of what seed we were, everybody's going to be coming for us. We get everybody's best shot, whether it's regular season or in a tournament. The Cesar's not going to be any different. We got a very, very tough side of the bracket. I know we play ZR first, and if we're fortunate enough to get past them, then you're looking at probably Johnson City, who Johnson City is, they can score. They got a lot of big kids, which are going to cause us problems. And then you got Goreville and Waltonville both, in the same bracket as you. So it's definitely going to be very difficult. We're going to have to, play extremely well. We've talked to our kids. Our kids love that time of year. They get to play. I mean, it's 4 straight days of playing instead of practicing. So it's good for the players. Don't know if it's really all that good for the coaching standpoint because you like to practice and have some more time to prepare for those games. But yeah, it's a great tournament. I think 6 or 7 teams probably feel like they've got a really good chance, if they play well and things go their way, of winning that thing. And that's probably a little bit different than the last couple of years. So we're excited about it. Unfortunately for us, we can't really look ahead to that just yet because Tuesday we got a big game with Weber coming into our place, and we've got a lot of work to do before then.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that game coming up before the holiday tournament, and Weber is much improved, and they bring a lot of things to the table with some athleticism, some speed, some size, and they've kind of been a little bit up and down so far, but boy, they're very capable of playing at a high level, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of weapons, and anytime, obviously the Neal kid's a really good player. I mean, he's got good size and length and athleticism. He can shoot the basketball. The Helm kid does a really good job of, running things for them and handling the ball. And then, the Stratton kid, I mean, he can really shoot it. He can get it going. So when you have weapons like that, anytime that's going to present challenges for us, we're obviously going to have to guard them extremely well. Offensively, nothing changes. I mean, we're going to have to get a good shot every trip. And we told our guys last night, I know that they're disappointed, and last night was, a rival game, and everybody talks about how big a game was, and that's true. But it's not a make or break. It's only the 8th game of the year. There's a lot of really good teams in the Midland Trail, and we all have to play each other. So, obviously, again, Tuesday night is going to be a very difficult game for us. It's going to be a big challenge. And so I just told our guys, be mad about it, and it's okay for last night for them to, be upset. But now it's over, and the next 2 days we really got to respond and come back and get ready to roll, and don't let last night turn into another one on Tuesday. Hopefully we can get Tuesday night and feel good about ourselves moving into that Cesar holiday tournament.
Yeah, well, Danny and I were talking about the conference. Danny, we were saying that we didn't expect anybody to run through the conference undefeated this year. Nobody was going to run the table, were they?
Oh no, I didn't think so at all. There seems to be a lot of parity in basketball this season. On any given night, you better bring your best game or you're probably going to get beat. And the teams that can do that night in, night out will kind of shake out at the top. But it'll be a big challenge for these teams all season long. Yeah,
absolutely. That's our conference is probably the best it's been in several years. And we've talked about it to our guys a lot. That's good. I mean, that's what you want. Like last night, obviously, are we really disappointed in the outcome? Yes, but the fact that our kids get to play in that atmosphere and playing in overtime or every.
I was going to ask you. You probably didn't have 15 or 20 people in the gym, did you?
No, we may have had a few more than that, just a little bit.
Yeah, so, but you're right. That atmosphere is fantastic when Woodlawn and Waltonville get together. It's just great.
It is. And before the game and even after, I mean, we told our kids, hey, listen, there are very few teams that get an opportunity to play in front of a crowd and atmosphere like last night. And even our JV kids. Last night, I mean, the JV game, there's not an empty seat in the house for the JV game.
That's awesome.
And so we told those guys, just enjoy it. Don't take it for granted, because you can make a lot of trips to many, many schools around the state, and they will never have a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, I mean, it was a fun game from that standpoint, and our guys getting to play in that. It's what makes high school basketball great. That's why we do what we do, and why we try to get these kids to understand just how blessed and fortunate they are to have the opportunity to play in something like it was last night. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brian, hey, we'll let you go, and I know you're getting ready for practice and getting ready to prepare for Weber Township on Tuesday, so have a good weekend. Stay safe out there, and thanks for your time this morning on the Sports Couch, okay?
Oh, okay, you guys too. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Brian Gamber, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Again, they lose it last night in overtime. What a battle last night with Waltonville. And again, that Waltonville team's dangerous this year, Danny. They win it in overtime 55-47. Woodlawn had their chances in regulation, though. Shots just wouldn't fall. Some nights they go, sometimes they don't, and when they go, it looks really good, and when they don't, you say, would've, could've, and should've. Yep, that's right. That's right. You want to review some of those scores again from last night for those people who might have tuned in or logged in late, and then we're going to get Coach Winemiller on the phone. All right. From Benton. From the Conrad Allen last night, Patoka advances the championship 67-55 over Red Hill. Wayne City holds off a Crab Orchard team 57-53. From the Black Diamond, it was Chester 78, Trico 37, Christopher 59, Cesar 56, Carmel 55, Hamilton County 37. Fairfield puts the first loss on Edwards County last night, 56-50. El Dorado handles Johnson City, 80-45. From the Midland Trail, it was Waltonville 55, Woodlawn 47 in overtime, Odin 81, Sandoval 33. From the River to River, Nashville 75, Sparta 38, Pinckneyville 59, DuQuoin 41, Carterville 45, Anna Jonesboro 40. Benton 75, West Frankfort 32, and weather permitting tonight, be a big game here in Franklin County as the Nashville Hornets are going to travel to Benton. Both teams put up 75 last night, so it should be a great game there if weather allows that to take place. Massac County gets Harrisburg 65-61. Carbondale and Mount Vernon were the only teams in the South 7. Carbondale wins 49-27. From the GEC, NCOE 82, Hardin County 69, Carrier Mills 65, Pope County 38, and the Oakville Rockets keep rolling with a 69-48 victory over Steelville last night. All righty. Well, you mentioned in that scoreboard again that the Benton Rangers won again last night. They beat West Frankfort by a score of 75-32, but they got a big game looming tonight, weather permitting. Weather permitting, the Nashville Hornets are going to go to Franklin County. Think there'll be anybody show up for that game? There may be a few people there. I think they only had a few in attendance last night. That's probably right. Good rivalry there between those two Franklin County teams, West Frankfort and Benton. Ron Winemiller joins us on the phone right now, head coach of the Benton Rangers. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. Your Benton Rangers are playing some good basketball right now. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we have played pretty good basketball. I thought we really played well last night. To be able to beat them like we were, and I thought we kind of controlled all facets of the game, and we outscored them something like 29-3 in the second quarter, and kind of just blew it open there right before the half. Wow. Well, you had a big crowd on hand there last night. I've seen some highlights of your game. What about a exciting, festive atmosphere you have going there at Rich Herron right now? Oh, absolutely. I think that's our Board of Education and our superintendent, Dr. Maddox, have made our gymnasium a priority, and we've done a really good job of upgrading some things in there, new chair seats. We've built a new weight room in there. We refinished the floor. I think it looks like a brand new facility, to be honest with you. Wow. And when you have a team that's pretty good like we have this year, and then you have a new facility to kind of showcase and show off, it really makes for a fun night of basketball at Benton right now.
Well, talk a little bit about this game you got coming up tonight, weather permitting. What are you thinking about the weather situation, Ron?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be kind of surprised if we play. You know, as time goes on, it just seems like more and more people are canceling. And I don't think the problem is necessarily going to be getting people here. It's going to be getting Nashville back home at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So I don't know what's going to happen, but if we play, it's going to be two really good teams going toe-to-toe. Really, they present a lot of problems for us and do a lot of things that we're going to have to show a good ability to be able to stop if we want to have a chance to win.
Well, you know, looking at this game, you got some kids that are playing very good basketball for you. You got a group of young kids that's giving your older players some very good minutes and very good supporting cast. Or talk a little bit about your team right now.
Well, you know, we have the kind of the three-headed monster that a lot of people like to talk about, and Henson, Oxford, and Will. Those three guys have started a boatload of games, and they've kind of been our backbone of our program. Even last year, we relied on those three guys to do a lot of things for us, and we're getting great minutes out of two other juniors that are starting for us, and Parker Williams and Hamilton Page. Hamilton is not really scoring a whole lot for us this year, but he's doing a great job defensively as far as setting the tone, guarding the other team's best player. Parker's an undersized post guy he played great last night.
I started to say he had a big game last night, didn't he?
Yeah, and he had kind of struggled to find his rhythm a little bit, and I thought he really played well last night. And the thing about these guys is that, you know, they play really hard and they compete and they play for one another, and kind of the things that you preach as a coach, they kind of put into practice and make you look smart sometimes. But it's having a pretty good group, and we bring Garrett Gwynn and Cade Thomas and Blaine Pankey off the bench, and I thought Garrett really had a big game last night. I think he had 14 and shot the ball extremely well. He's been fighting his shot a little bit, so to see him make some shots was something that we really were happy to see. And I thought Cade, the last two games, has played outstanding. I thought he was great last night. I thought he was great Tuesday night against Carmel. And when we were able to play Cade, it enabled us to use Timmy kind of have more flexibility with Henson and use his length more to our advantage.
Well, last night I heard you commenting on your radio show on the way home from the game. I heard you say, you know, it was pretty unique to be able to put Henson, your point guard, down there under the basket guarding their 6'6" player.
Yeah, you know, we sometimes last year I told our guys it was simple. You know, Brendan guarded the other team's post player. Cruz guarded the in-out guy. Wills or Oxford would guard the other team's best scorer. And I told Timmy, I said, you would guard the guy who wouldn't shoot. So that's one thing about Timmy is he's really improved his defense, and he's competing a lot better, harder on defense, and he's doing the things defensively that he's got to do for us to be successful. And I thought last night was a great testament to that. I mean, we really challenged him by having him guard the big Gladish kid, and he rose to the challenge and did a great job on him.
I noticed one of the things last night that in your pregame introductions, did you bring an old Fox's thing over there, turning out the lights and the spotlight?
Yeah, we did. That's something when we redid the gym, you know, we don't have the old fluorescent lights that take 12 minutes to turn back on. Now we have just like kind of a light switch like you have in your house. So that's something when we redid the gym, we talked about and we kicked it around, and we kind of jokingly said it that we would like to do it. And next thing you know, now we're planning for it, and now we're doing it. And our kids, our student section, eat it up. Our kids love it. It's just, you know, I think one of the things that we're trying to do is create an atmosphere here that it's fun to go to the games, and then, like I said, when you have a team that's pretty good, it can make it even more enjoyable. So we're trying to create an atmosphere that people from Benton will be really proud of when they come to games to watch the Rangers.
You know, Ron, I can remember being introduced just like that, and that's one of the best memories, you know, when they turned down them lights and they put on the music, and out you came to that spotlight and the flashlights, and it's quite a little experience, you know, and I think some of those small things like that turn into a home court advantage for you.
Oh, I do too, you know, and I think a lot of times, and let's be honest, when the ball goes up, you got to have the team to back that up as far as the home court advantage, and right now we do. And one of the big things I think about our guys that they like that kind of stuff. You know, I'm getting old, Danny, and I could care less to turn the lights out.
I don't know, Ron. If you'd let me sit there on your bench tonight and you turn out the lights, I'd still like to run out there to it. I couldn't help you, but I'd still like to do it.
I was going to, I would too. I was going to say the 2 times we've done it, though, I've gotten goosebumps, and my thought have went back to 1994, running out there, and the old green and white when we did that, and I think that's a thing that those kids will talk about, and it'll be something that they started with them, and hopefully we can continue in the future. So here's the thing about our guys, and I say this a lot, and I know people aren't around them every day like I am. We have really, really good kids, and we have kids that are respectful in class. I mean, we don't have kids that are in trouble. We don't have kids that are in the principal's office. And so when you have good basketball players and then you have kids that the community can rally around, it makes it a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, Ron, and another key point to that, I always hear coaches say behind every great group of kids there's a better group of parents.
Oh, and our parents are unbelievable. I mean, they're supportive, and we were able to go to one of the parents' houses between games at Goreville and kick back, and they fixed a spread that was unbelievable, and just kind of hanging out with those guys, and it's just they like each other. And I think that sometimes maybe people think, well, that's kind of silly, but when they like each other, it makes things a lot easier when you're dealing with different egos and different personalities in the locker room, and it makes my job a lot easier, that's for sure.
When you talk about egos, that's one thing that doesn't appear to be in your Benton Ranger locker room. It looks to me like you got a group that just meshes very, very well, and how important is that to the success you're having?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I made a comment on the post game last night that apparently went on Facebook, and it had all these comments about what a great quote it was. I didn't know that. Now I was going to be such a wordsmith, but I just said when you keep ego out of the locker room, you can accomplish special things. And I think these guys do a really good job of filling their role and doing the things that they can do to help us be successful. And as a result of that, we've so far been able to accomplish some pretty good things, and hopefully we have some more special things down the road.
Looking at your holiday tournament, you're going to head over to the Duster Thomas Hoop Classic. What do you see over there?
Well, I think at 10:30 we're going to play a really, really good Trenton Westland team. They're long and athletic, and they will create a boatload of problems for us, as small as we are. And then 8:30 that night we're going to play Olney. Everybody told me Olney's really down, and then they go to Paris and win last night. So we'll have our hands full that first day, and then whatever happens then, you're going to turn around and play 2 more games the second day against good teams. And it's a really, really good tournament. I think the 12 teams in it, probably 10 of them have a chance to win it. So that's the kind of tournament that makes it exciting for both days at the Duster Thomas Hoops Classic.
Well, Ron, thank you for your time this morning. It's always nice to visit with you. Look forward to being over with you at the BIT, and best of luck and happy holidays to you and your family.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys. And as far as our game goes, I would say we'll know one way or the other in probably about an hour.
Okay.
So you guys just keep your ears and eyes open on social media, and we'll get the word out.
All right, and we'll try to do the same for you then. Okay, appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Ron. Have a good weekend. Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.
That's Ron Winemiller, head coach of the Benton Rangers. They are off to a great start, Danny, and I'm excited to see what it looks like down there at the gym now.
Yeah, they've really made some nice readjustments to that gym and stuff, and it'll be exciting to get over there for that BIT. And he's got a great team. Look for them to do some kind of special things throughout this season. Talking about holiday tournaments, looking at the 52nd annual holiday tournament at 8:30. Game 1, it's going to be Anna Jonesboro versus Union County, Kentucky. The number 1 seed Heron Tigers will take on Carrier Mills, followed by Carmel, the number 5 team in West Frankfort. Then it'll be number 4 Harrisburg versus Hamilton County. Number 7 Massac County is going to take on Gallatin County. And the number 2 Fairfield Mules and the NCOE Fighting Cardinals will battle at 4:45. In the evening session, it'll be number 3 El Dorado versus Hardin County, and number 6 seed Edwards County Lions will take on Vienna, and that'll be your opening round from day one.
That's at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament. Of course, we'll be providing wall-to-wall coverage down there on AreaSports.net and FoxesFans.net, so we invite you to be able to watch games with us online if you can't make it down there. But, boy, it's a great experience down there, so you need to try to make it if you can. Another tournament that's had pairings announced this week is the Centralia Holiday Tournament, which will actually start on the 28th. So some tournaments, start the 27th. Or the 26th, even.
Yeah, El Dorado's starting on the 26th.
That's right. Centralia Holiday Tournament starts on the 28th. Pairings have been announced, and with us right now is not only the head coach of the Centralia Orphans, but also athletic director up there, Lee Bennett. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
Okay, guys.
Good.
Good morning to you. It's been a crazy weekend so far.
Boy, it has been a crazy weekend. You were not able to play last night. You were scheduled to take on Belleville-Altoff, and the weather was just too bad. They couldn't make it over to Centralia last night, so you postponed that.
Coach Lee was calling me every 15 minutes, and they were trying, and then it just got where it was not safe to try, and so they turned around. It ended up being after 9 o'clock before they got back, and I've heard all kind of nightmares out there. I think Marion turned around about Fairview going to Cahokia.
Right.
At 10:30, I think. So hopefully they all made it home. There's a lot of those like that. I heard from all the people over there going to Collinsville, same kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So just, it just kind of got everybody, and hopefully everybody made it home safe and without too much damage to the vehicles out there. It was nasty. We actually already canceled tonight. We're not going to go to Highland.
Okay.
We're gonna go over there on Tuesday night now because it warmed up this morning, so we're able to play freshman games this morning. But this afternoon it's going to refreeze and then maybe get a little more weather in on top of that. And we're just a little bit worried about living that same dream or nightmare, I guess. And so we're trying to, being on the safe side.
Okay, so your game with the Highland Bulldogs is postponed tonight. You'll play that on Tuesday night. Have you rescheduled the game with Belleville-Altoff yet?
We haven't, no. In one of my 12,000 text messages, phone calls this morning, and Coach Lee and I are working on that, and we haven't come up with a date, but we'll get her on there. I'll send him something and wait to hear back. And it's just because everybody's got 10,000 things going on there, and when you're coaching, you have all that stuff, and then all that stuff. And he's in the same boat I am there with.
Right.
You have bowling and wrestling and cheer and other teams, and you're trying to figure out everything for whether they can go or can't go, and looking ahead to the next day. So anyway, it's fine. It's just it's a lot of stuff to try to dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Yeah, you got freshman basketball at 10 o'clock. Who's the Orphans playing this morning in freshman hoops?
Ironically, we're playing oddball.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we could, that it's fine now because I tell you what, a few degrees makes a big difference. 35 is a lot safer than 30.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Well, hey, real quick, let's talk about the pairings for the Centralia Holiday Tournament. You announced them this week, and again, a great, strong field there again in the tournament. And as you look at the brackets and you look at the field up and down, who would you say, other than your own Centralia Orphans, would be 2 or 3 of the really tough teams that fans will want to get out and see this year?
Well, we've got 2 teams that have a losing record in the tournament out of 16.
Wow!
And one of those we think is a pretty good team. Arlington, that was real strong last year, 3-4. So I highly doubt they'll end up under 500. So it just kind of tells you about the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like, Champaign Central just recently beat the number 1 and 3 teams in Missouri, and they played some really, really, really tough competition out of the gate. I think they'll be a strong team. I think Belleville West is kind of in the same boat where they've played some really strong competition and beat some good teams. Had a nice win over Edwardsville, and they're one of the strong teams. But I think there's a lot of really good teams, and a lot of, if not really good, a lot of good teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And very few teams that aren't at least decent or pretty good, And so it's I think there'll be a lot of good games. I think there'll be a lot of good first-round games.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you're starting your tournament on the 28th as opposed to the 26th, I think ultimately will probably benefit you because you're not going to be running your tournament parallel with some of the other ones that start on the 26th or 27th. So I think it gives fans an opportunity to attend more than one tournament, and I think it probably ultimately will help your crowd. I would think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we try to. We don't really look at the other tournaments per se, but I think you make a valid point. We try to avoid the day after Christmas because we have so many teams that travel in. Local tournaments can pull that off a little easier, but
right.
I think it's every 6th year maybe. We have to go on the 26th because of the way it falls.
Right.
And then the same thing as having to play as a New Year's Eve.
Right.
Pretty good deal. But it just we have teams that come in from so far. Have some of them end up having to travel on that Christmas night, which isn't it's not the end of the world, but if it's avoidable, we try to do that. So and then we try to get those weekend days if possible, because a lot of people take off work each year for the tournament. So if we can include that for them, that helps them with one extra vacation day or something that they can take throughout the year, rather than having to save it for the holiday tournament. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of how we look at it and what we do. But those teams that are more local, going on the 26th isn't a bad thing because maybe there's some family in town and gets to come watch their grandson or nephew or whoever play ball or their niece cheer, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, real quick, let's let you talk a little bit about your Orphans. I know you'd lost a tough one last week against a good Carbondale team, but they're playing very well last night. I saw them up close last night, and they are playing well. But aside from that, your Orphans are having a good season so far. So tell us how you assess your team's play so far.
Yeah. We're doing all right. We're still making too many mistakes.
I think you're breaking up on us a little bit, Coach. If you can maybe walk a little bit different direction with your phone there. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
How's
Thank you.
That?
That's better.
It doesn't like my left.
That's better.
My right here. Okay. We're making too many mistakes still for us to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And however high our high end is, we want to get as close to that as we can. And for us, that's going to mean we need to eliminate mistakes. It's hard for us to go erase a bunch of mistakes, offensively or defensively. Some teams like you mentioned, Carbondale, they can erase some mistakes defensively because they're so much longer and more athletic, in a lot of spots than other teams are. You kind of saw that. I mean, when they started, it's 3 6'5" guys and a 6'2" guy that are all three very long and very athletic.
Right.
That's good. That's good size.
Yes, it is.
Althoff goes with probably more yet.
Yeah.
And maybe even skilled at some other spots. So that's kind of where we are as far as needing to just try to eliminate some more mistakes and I look for that to happen some as the year goes on. But the problem is other teams are doing the same thing. They're getting smarter and better and making better decisions and that kind of thing. So I think that's what it's all about for us, is just trying to be as good as we can possibly be. And we have a decent record going right now, and we're going to play some really strong teams coming up. Obviously, if you do well in the tournament, you play in the Centralia Holiday Tournament, you play a lot of good teams. When you're playing in the South 7 Conference, you're going to play a lot of good teams. We have some good non-conference games on our schedule, so it's going to be a really good challenge for us. We'll see. Other than Dawson, we didn't have anybody else back that was a starter on the team, and we had a few guys that had played a little bit, but now they're trying to play a big role on the team. Where before, you had Vernon and Devin and London out there with Dawson. They were more of a supporting role, and now they're just trying to evolve into that next level.
Right. Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, I know you got to get going and get that freshman game this morning, but we appreciate your time this morning. I want to encourage basketball fans to get out and see some hoops at the Centralia Holiday Tournament, reminding people it starts on the 28th, 29th, and 30th.
There's obviously in our place and plenty of good hospitality, and I think everybody that comes out always enjoys it. There'll be there'll be a lot of good teams and a lot of good games to play. And we're fortunate to be in a spot here in Centralia where our local people and the people from the local surrounding area have really supported this tournament and helped keep it being a great event over, 74th year now.
Wow. That's amazing. 74 years. Incredible. Sure is. Yeah. Coach, thanks a lot, and have a safe weekend, okay?
All right. Take care.
Take care. Righty. Bye-bye. It's head coach Lee Bennett of the Centralia Orphans, also their athletic director. And, again, you heard him say, Dan, they've already postponed their game tonight at Highland. They're not going to go, and that's probably a good move. And they're going to play that Tuesday night against the Highland Bulldogs.
It looks to me like basketball is going to be pretty sparse tonight.
Yeah, I think it is. They have not yet rescheduled the game with Belleville-Altoff. They'll try to work that. He said that was his text with Coach Lee from Altoff among his 10,000 that he's getting today. And I bet that's true for all the coaches and guys, especially who wear the athletic director hats too, because, again, with the wrestling and the bowling and the freshman games and everything else you got going on, and talking with the referees and, there's just so much going on.
Oh, yeah. It takes a lot of decisions to cancel one of these games, but then to get them rescheduled.
Absolutely.
With the officiating crunch and everything that's going on, it's an athletic director's nightmare.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk to Tyler Buss. He is the head basketball coach for the Mount Carmel Aces. And, of course, they're off to a great start. We'll talk about Aces basketball coming up. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Amy's Sweet Gallery in downtown Fairfield serves top-of-the-line cookies, cupcakes, cakes, rolls, and more delicious home-baked goodies for your family, church, business, wedding, holidays, birthdays, you name it. Amy's Sweet Gallery uses third-generation secret family recipes with a hint of love in every bite. Amy's Sweet Gallery is located at 108 East Main in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-3754, and their website is amysweetgallery.com. A scoop, a pinch, a dash, and a drop. Homemade goodness with just one stop. Amy's Sweet Gallery in Fairfield.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all your friends at F&B. We wish you peace, happiness, and prosperity during the Christmas season and throughout the new year. In observance of the holidays, all F&B locations will be closed on December 24th and the 26th, and again on December 31st and January 2nd. We sincerely thank you for your business in 2016 and look forward to serving you in the new year. Happy holidays, F&B, Banking Business Life, member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We got live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WBYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Another powerhouse team in Class 2A basketball this year, Danny, is the Mount Carmel Golden Aces, and they're off to another good start this year. And they didn't have a game last night, though, but that might have been a good thing, not being out there battling that weather.
Well, it probably was for them, but, I'm sure Coach would like to have been playing somewhere last night. He's got a very exciting team over there, and look for them to make some racket this season.
Absolutely. Let's talk to him right now. That's Tyler Buss, head coach of the Mount Carmel Golden Aces. Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Doing well, guys. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. And, no game last night. When is the next game for the Aces?
Well, we're supposed to play tonight over in Albany, so weather permitting, hopefully everything maybe gets pushed back on some of this ice coming in. But we're supposed to play tonight at Albany.
So there hasn't been a final decision made yet. So right now the game is on as of right now.
As far as we know, yes. And we moved it up yesterday. The JV's tipping off at 5. So
okay.
That's kind of what we're going with right now, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your Golden Aces. You guys ran through that tournament up at the Lawrence County Classic, played very, very well up there, and the teams you've been playing over in Indiana, you've gotten some landmark wins there. I think maybe you've beaten a team or two that maybe you haven't beaten in years or maybe ever. Is that true?
Yes, yeah, we knocked Jasper off finally after 13 tries. Lucky number 14 was finally the one this year. So that was big for our guys. I think a lot of times we struggled in Indiana, and sometimes it's almost felt like a mental thing. We've lost some games we probably should have won, and just could never quite get over that hump. And so that was our first conference game, and we were able to get that. And I think that really kind of set the tone for the rest of our conference schedule. We've won 2 more since then, and playing really well.
Well, and then you got a win against Teotopolis this year too. Of course, that's been a team that's kind of been a thorn in your side in postseason, but you've already got a win against them this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I'll use the one-liner. I keep using it. It took me 30 years, but I can finally say I did something Tyra couldn't do, and that's knock off the winning shoes. So.
Oh boy! I bet you've heard it from her too on that, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that you have. Well, we've got those people who are watching our live video stream right now on AreaSports.net. We have a picture of your team photo up on the screen. So why don't you kind of run through your roster with us right now and your starters and the key guys off the bench and kind of give us an insight into those Golden Aces this year.
Sure. We start one senior by the name of Justin Carpenter. He's 6'8", getting closer to 6'9" every day, I feel like. He's committed to play basketball next year at SEMO, Southeast Missouri. So really, really nice player for us. Kind of has developed into more of a distributor role this year. I think he's averaging right around 13, 14 points a game, 6, 7 rebounds, but then 5 assists. So, he's done a good job of that. And then the other big boy in the middle, Jackson Marcotte, the junior, he's about 6'6", 6'7". He's averaging over 20 a game. It's just really been a load for us this year, down low. And those are kind of the two everybody knows about and gets a lot of attention. But I think the big reason we've kind of taken the jump from last year to this year is kind of that supporting cast. Austin Rager, number 21, is another starter that has really blossomed, just a sophomore, but kind of gives us that scoring threat from the wing. And then we got 2 guys that can flat out shoot the basketball that start as well. Braden Stipp, number 3, and Brett Doan, number 4, both shoot the ball at a really high percentage. So it's almost it's a good mix of size and shooting ability, and we got some guys that can get to the basket. And for things have finally clicked that we decided to play some defense this year, and that's again kind of been the big change from last year. This year is we're much more consistent on that end of the floor.
Well, where are Yins headed for Christmas tournament action?
We play in the Gibson County Toyota Classic over in Gibson County in Indiana, and it's shrunk down a little bit. There's only 6 teams, so we play 2 pool play games against Wood Memorial, who's highly ranked in 1A in Indiana, North Posey, and then if we're able to get through that, we get the Castle Knights, who are 4A out of Newburgh. They're 8-0 right now, and have 7-foot Jack Nungy, who's going to Iowa, that they have on their team, as well as a very nice supporting cast. So, that'll be a great test if we're fortunate enough to get there.
Well, when you look at your Mount Carmel Golden Aces team, you got to be pretty happy with how things are progressing at this point of the season. For your team, it'll be nice to have a little break there over the Christmas and get revived for that second half push and get it headed toward the state tournament round, won't it?
Yeah, no, I really like the way our schedule sets up, and that we get our Christmas tournament done before Christmas, so we're able to give the guys 4 or 5 days off there, on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the few days after, and it's just a perfect time, like you said, kind of recharge the battery, and then you get back, and you're still not back at school yet, so you got kind of 3 or 4 or 5 days there where you can really get some stuff fixed that you need fixed, and you're not necessarily preparing for another opponent or anything like that. You're just kind of going to work on what you're going to need for the second half of the season, because it seems like once January hits, your midwinter tournament, you're playing all the time, and before you know it, you're getting ready to tip off in a regional game. So that break there right around Christmas time is really, really important for us.
So your team plays their Christmas tournament then the week before Christmas?
Yes, yeah. It falls different each year, but yeah, this year with only having 6 teams in it, they're able to get it all in right before Christmas. So I think the championship night is on the Friday the 23rd there. So like I said, I think it really helps kind of break our season up, and allows us to get away for a little bit right around the holidays and get everybody recharged and ready to go for the second half.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to take advantage of that and make a trip over to Indiana to watch the Lady Hoosiers play, are you?
We'll find our way over there a couple times, I'd imagine.
We'd be amiss here if we didn't ask about Tyra and her team, how things going with her. I'm sure you communicate daily with her probably. Give the folks a little update on her.
Yeah, they're playing well. they return a good chunk of their production from last year that made a run to the NCAA tournament for the first time in a long time, and they've lost maybe a couple games that they probably should have won, and kind of went through a little funk. But their non-conference schedule has been pretty tough. They've been tested, and now they're getting ready to kind of finish that part of the schedule up and get ready for Big Ten play. So that's kind of where their season will be made. But she's playing well again. She was named to the Naismith Award watch list as one of the top 50 players in the country, so that was pretty neat to see that. And she's playing well. She's shooting at a really high percentage. I think last I looked, 47% from the three. So when she's hitting that, it makes her a pretty tough matchup for a lot of those teams. But they're playing well, and they're exciting to watch.
Well, things are going well at the Bus household because she's playing well, and the Mount Carmel Golden Aces are playing well. Life's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it never feels as good as it probably should, because you're grinding away, working on the next thing, and worrying about the next deal. But we're definitely blessed, and we're excited to be able to share her ride, as well as she was able to sneak over when we were at Vincent's last week, and she was able to bring a couple of her teammates to watch us play, so that was pretty neat as well.
The success that they're having, where she's playing out there at Indiana with the Hoosiers and being ranked down, that sort of thing, that's just helping with recruiting too, and just going to make the program even better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you hit it on the head there, because they're kind of back on the map. I mean, all the renovations that have been done to Assembly Hall. It's I'm not even an Indiana fan other than women's basketball, but what a beautiful place to play now, and you mix that with some good runs here of talent on both the boys and girls side. I think that. They're going to just continue to keep getting better and better as they keep recruiting, some higher caliber players.
Mm-hmm. Well, back to your boys' team, back to the Golden Aces. Are you still in the midwinter tournament down at Carmel?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Still we'll head back down there for that long grind of a week, and I always enjoy going down there. Got a lot of close friends from my 3 years at Carmel, and so it's always nice to get back down there. They obviously treat us well, and you gotta go on about a 2-week diet after that hospitality room for all week down there, because it's one of the best going, that's for sure.
You shouldn't have told Randy that. I guarantee you he'll be wanting to go to Carmel and broadcast a couple games now just for that reason.
Just for the hospitality room, that's right, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for your time this morning on the Sports Couch, and again, congratulations to the great start that your Golden Aces are off to in basketball this year. It's going to be fun to watch them play and see how things play out for your team this year. But again, a couple of big wins for your program already, getting the winning over T-Town, getting that win over Jasper, and much success as you continue on for the rest of the regular season. And I'm sure we'll talk more down the line, okay?
All right, well, I appreciate it, guys. Enjoy listening to you, and thanks for all you guys do for high school hoops.
All right, well, thanks.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Have a good weekend. Guys. Stay safe out there. All righty. Bye-bye. Tyler Buss, the head coach of the Mount Carmel Aces. Yeah, Jasper, they 14th try, they beat them in basketball, and they got a win over T-Town, and again, that's 2 landmark wins for his Aces program.
Yeah, and it sounds like I got some big games coming up over there in that pre-Christmas tournament that they're going to be in, so he's got a real deal there.
Yeah, he does, and the fact that they play their tournament before Christmas, that's going to give him the opportunity to go scout, too. He's going to have a chance to go to a lot of different holiday tournaments that he wants to. If there's somebody he hasn't seen yet that's on the 2A radar, like a Nashville or like a Benton or, any of those teams like that Fairfield that he might be concerned with that he may meet down the line in 2A postseason, there's going to be an opportunity for him to go watch him play.
Oh, yeah, talking about Benton and Nashville both, I don't have any of the other rankings, but I did get a message a while ago that said Benton is ranked 8th in 3A, and Nashville is ranked 5th in 2A, and that'd be the first time in 20 years tonight, if they could play, that 2 ranked teams have met at Benton in the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really something. Well, that's cool. I don't know if they'll get that game in tonight again with the way the weather situation is, but if they don't play tonight, hopefully they'll be rescheduled here soon. So,
but that Nashville Hornets team, they're kind of a team that's kind of flying a little bit under the radar now, right? Too. You don't hear a lot of talk or hype about the Nashville Hornets, and here they are ranked 5th in 2A.
Right.
And that's the teams that come in and bite you if you're not real careful.
Right. Real quick, we want to play a short interview that we recorded this morning with Lance Boldt from Wayne City. He's the athletic director at Wayne City, talking about the tournament situation today and some other things. We'll play that real quick, and then we'll come back on the other side of that and touch bases again before we wrap up on some holiday tournaments and some other things. Well, last night, weather played havoc on basketball games throughout Southern Illinois. Several games were canceled, particularly over the Metro East area, and probably weather's going to play a role again today. Well, they're kind of taking a proactive approach over there at Wayne City today with the finals of the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament. Today is the trophy round games. They've got 4 of them scheduled. Everything's been moved up to start at 10 o'clock this morning. Joining us right now on the phone is the new athletic director at Wayne City this year, and that's Lance Boldt. Good morning, Lance. How's it going today?
Hey, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to have you on the sports couch, and I think you guys did a smart thing by proactively looking at this weather situation yesterday, and pretty early on in the day yesterday, you made the decision to go ahead and schedule everything and move it up today, starting with that 7th place game at 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, we just wanted to be as proactive as possible. We've been watching the last couple of days to see what might happen, and so we moved it all the way up to 10 o'clock. They're talking about possible, bad weather about 5 o'clock or so around here, so we're hoping that we can get all the games done and get everybody on the road and back to their communities by the time it hits.
Yeah,
that's what our thinking was.
Yeah, that's a good thing because we're talking about it getting down to single digits, and if it freezes anything like it did last night, that could really play havoc on the road. So today at 7 o'clock, today is the 7th place game at 10 o'clock this morning. It'll be Sisseton against Grayville, and then roughly at 11:30 right after that, it'll be Crab Orchard against Weber. The 3rd place game will tip somewhere around 1 o'clock with Red Hill against the Fairfield JV, and then the championship should tip off at 2:30, 2:45, somewhere in there with Wayne City against Patoka. So 4 good basketball games today in the trophy round. Should be fun for all the fans.
Oh, yeah, it's been a really good tournament so far. We've had some really good games, some exciting games, and again, if you haven't had a chance to see the new gym and the new facility, while the weather's nice, come on over and watch, and I think you'll see some good basketball. And we're really excited in Wayne City, of course, because we're playing really well right now. We're 9-0 and in the championship game. But Patoka, my goodness, Patoka really played well yesterday against Red Hill, and so that's going to be a tough game for us. But again, if you want to see some good basketball, come on out.
All right, real good. And speaking of the new gym, that's already paying dividends to everyone there at the high school in Wayne City, because now you get to host the Midland Trail Conference Tournament this year, I understand.
Yeah, that's middle of January, the 16th through the 21st. And, I think, with the facilities the way they are, I just think it's perfect. We're kind of in a centralized location in the Midland Trail anyway. And, brand new facility, nice gymnasium, easy to get to, and I think it just works out in our favor that way.
Yeah, for so many years that tournament has been held up in Louisville at North Clay High School, which was kind of to the north for everybody, and now with North Clay moving out of the conference, they had to find a new location. And you're right, with the new facility, all the space you have, and then being centrally located here in Wayne City, it just was an easy selection, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, I think so, and we got good locker room facilities, and everything that goes along with a new building, a new school building, and the gym seats around 1,000 people, and then we also have another gym right next to that we can use if need be. But everything's, in my opinion, it all just kind of makes sense. It kind of fell into place, and so that's something else to look forward to. We're hoping to also, we're actually going to host the freshman tournament as well, and been looking towards the regionals as well. So we got a lot coming our way, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a busy day for you, so I know you need to get going, so I'll let you go. But again, I want to remind all listeners that basketball kicks off this morning at 10 o'clock at the Conrad Allen Tournament. It's a trophy round game today, and you can take in 4 games there today at Wayne City and get those in and enjoy them before this cold weather comes in. So thanks for joining us this morning, Lance, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's Lance Boldt. He's the athletic director at Wayne City High School. Again, those games starting here in just a few minutes. The 7th place game kicking off. And we just got a text message, Danny, from Wade Thomas. Appreciate it, Wade. He has let us know that the game has been postponed tonight between the Benton Rangers and the Nashville Hornets. They have decided to postpone that game because of the expected inclement weather, and they'll try to reschedule that at a later date, but no date has been set yet. We already know that the Centralia game has been called off between the Orphans and Highland. Still waiting on a word on the Waterloo-Mount Vernon game. It's still on right now, but Doug said he would let us know. If any other coaches or athletic directors are listening right now, if you want to give us a call real quick, if you've got a game that is postponed or canceled, you want to give us a call real quick, we'll hang loose here for a minute. 895-3030 is our number. That's 895-3030. You can reach us directly here in the studio if you've got a game that is postponed or canceled tonight. You want to let us know about that way we can get the word out to our listeners.
Hamilton County El Dorado decision. They're going to look to make that decision around 1 o'clock this afternoon. They don't think getting there is going to be the problem. It's going to be getting everybody home safe.
There you go. That's right. Getting there is one thing. Getting home is another. And that was the case last night. I mean, you heard Doug Creel talk about the fact that it took forever to get their wrestlers home last night.
Yeah, over west got pretty hectic last night.
Yeah, the fact that Marion got all the way to Fairview Heights on their way to Cahokia and then turned around at Fairview Heights and headed home and did not play the game last night at Cahokia.
Well, they had Interstate 64 shut down for over 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Route 159 was shut down for 5 hours due to an accident over in that area. They had quite a bit of vehicles. Well, I seen on their one report they had 130 vehicles with damage waiting the state police in that area.
Oh, my goodness. Can you say paperwork?
Yeah.
Holy cow. 130 vehicles. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up the show. And, again, thank everybody for listening today. And, of course, all the sponsors making it possible. And stay safe out there. Again, basketball going on right now at the Conrad Allen Tournament in Wayne City. That championship game will tip about 2:30, 2:45 this afternoon between Wayne City and Patoka. So while the weather is still above freezing, you can enjoy some basketball right now. Anything else, Danny?
No. There should be a lot of good action at these holiday tournaments coming up.
There will be. And, again, wall-to-wall coverage of the El Dorado Holiday Tournament on foxesfans.net, AreaSports.net. I think Dave's going to be down there with us, too, EdwardsCountySports.net. So between the three of us and our sidekicks, we ought to be able to bring you virtually every game, I think.
Yep. Looking forward to it. They're really excited. They think it's one of the most balanced field they've had in several years. Should be some great games, and they're looking always for the great crowds they have down there. And if you've not witnessed it, you need to join in.
Well, and if you look at that bracket, there's only one team out of state now. And that's just right across the river. Everybody else is in Southern Illinois, so it's truly a local Southern Illinois tournament. So if you like, Class 2A/3A basketball, mainly 2A. A few 1As in there, too, but mainly it's 2A basketball. And here in Southern Illinois, you'll love the El Dorado Holiday Tournament.
Yep.
All right. Hey, that's going to wrap up the show for today. Again, thanks so much for listening and for watching. We'll be back next Saturday morning at 8:30. It's 90 minutes of great local sports talk. It's the Sports Couch right here on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net. Stay safe, everyone. So long.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting